What's up, you guys? It's Layla Lynn, and I'm back with another Sunday video. And I just want to jump right into this because this is really deep and it keeps resurfacing for a reason. An old sermon by Bishop Yvette Flunder is circulating again after being reposted by Baller Alert and a couple other bloggers, and it's reigniting conversations about what is going on in the church when it comes to power, accountability, and hypocrisy. In the sermon, Bishop Flunder recounts a specific incident involving a well-known gospel singer, but she never gives his name. But according to her, the singer had just preached a very strong sermon about sin, morality, and repentance. Then after the service, a young man from her congregation allegedly approached her and said that that same singer had given him a hotel room key and told him what time to come by his room. So Bishop Flunder says she took the key herself and confronted the singer directly. And her issue wasn't just the alleged behavior, but the contradiction. She wanted to know, how do you stand in the pulpit condemning people, then turn around and move in ways that don't match the message? It's given he was condemning people, condemning young men, so that he could prey on young men. That's what it was given. But when she questioned him, she said his response was very dismissive, and it was along the lines of, none of us are perfect. So to be clear, the sermon does not identify the singer by name, and the article on Baller Alert does not present this as independently verified reporting. This is all alleged, but I wanted to get into what she said.
Very well-known gospel music artist, friend of ours. Somebody that Nita and Greg us know really, really well. He was up preaching and sending everybody to hell. Somebody know exactly what I'm talking about, and just preaching. And young men were coming to the altar and weeping and crying and weeping and crying to be delivered. After the service was over, one of the young men from my church came to me and said, so-and-so gave me the key to his room. I said, say more. I said, say more. He said he gave me the key to his room and told me what time to get there. I said, so give me the key, son. I went to the well-named gospel music artist. I said, did you give this key to your room to my son? Well, yes. I said, so exactly what is it? He said, I said, you just got through preaching. All those boys are weeping and crying. Repenting and crying. And you hooking up. This is, I don't understand this. How does that go? He said, well, none of us are perfect. I said, no, we're not. But what this is a bald-faced lie. How dare you break their hearts and their spirits for something that you don't require for yourself? It's hypocritical, and it's got to stop.
So y'all leave a comment. Let me know what y'all think. I don't want to get into guessing names, but what I want to do is have a conversation about preying on people, because it actually seems like the sermon was designed to get young men to come to the altar so that he could pray, so he could have his pick of the prey. That's what it sounds like. It sounds like a predator getting their pick of the prey. Now, on a completely different note, I do want to give an update on Donnie McClurkin. We know that he has denied all allegations, and they aren't just allegations. Nothing has been proven to be true at this point. He did a written denial, and then he also did a video denying the allegations as well. And I want to follow up on that. I want to follow up on the lawsuit against him by Giuseppe Carlotto. And what I want to do is compare the writing style of Donnie McClurkin in his written response to the lawsuit to the writing style in the alleged email from him in the evidence section of the lawsuit. And again, at this point, we as a public cannot confirm the authenticity of the email. That's up to the courts to do. But the email is the smoking gun in this lawsuit if it's authentic. And if you've missed my first video breaking this all down, I'll put a link to it in the top right-hand corner of this video. So I want to examine the writing styles and discuss our opinions about it. My opinion is that the writing styles are very similar. But it's also my opinion that a personal assistant to someone may be able to mimic their writing style, because a personal assistant would be privy to their writing style, especially if they work closely with them, they travel with them, they manage their schedule, their emails, and their private communications. An assistant could replicate their vocabulary. They could even replicate the way they do punctuation and capitalization habits. But what is hard to fake, in my opinion, is how someone writes like when they are spiraling. And I see in both of these messages, the author of both of these messages is spiraling. In the alleged email, the spiral moves between shame, remorse, self-punishment, and the urge to confess in order to make everything okay. And in the public statement, the spiral moves between denial, judgment, reputation protection, and the need to, again, reaffirm a righteous identity, a need to make everything okay. And I want to focus on the identity anchor, because that's what actually jumps out first. Before the weird punctuation and things like that, there is an anchor in moral identity. Both the alleged email and Donnie McClurkin's public statement are obsessed with who the writer is at a moral and spiritual level. Everything is framed through moral and spiritual identity. In the alleged email, moral identity is expressed through self-condemnation. So the writer of that email defines himself as, quote, the actual epitome of a desperate, dirty old man, broken, stupid, and foul. And it's confessional type language, but it's all based on identity. He's not just apologizing for his actions, he's narrating who he believes he became in that moment and why it violates his identity as a pastor, as a father figure, as a spiritual guide. It's all anchored in identity. Now, if you look at the public statement, that's also all anchored in identity, but in the opposite direction. Instead of self-condemnation, the writer defines himself through his virtues like integrity, transparency, and devotion to Christ, using statements like, I live to please him. Again, it's all about identity. And so I want y'all to notice that the denial, it isn't only like a factual denial, it's moral. He isn't just saying the accusations are false, they're not true. He's saying that the accusations are incompatible with his identity as a moral person. And so I just think it would be really hard to fake that focus on identity, because I feel like it's kind of like something that's subconscious that comes out in someone's writing. It's not just about, faking punctuation or mimicking capitalization or mimicking grammar. It's something deeper than that, in my opinion. But we can talk about the capitalization and the grammar. It looks the same in both messages, like the capitalization words like apologize again or for you and not like this in the email look very similar to the capitalization in the denial, like capitalizing any, not, truth, and better after a while. And of course, there's the run-on sentence structure, which I'm not even an English teacher, but run-on sentences always kill me. But it's the run-on sentences and the similar writing habits. You see that as well. But again, that can be mimicked. I don't know about the focus on identity, that anchor in identity. I think that would be harder to mimic. But y'all leave a comment. Let me know your opinion. As always, thanks for watching. Now, if you made it this far to the end of the video, then I think you like my content. So make sure you subscribe and check out my channel. I have over 1,000 videos on my channel. Check out my playlists and my podcasts, and I assure you, you will like more of my content.